Vision Zero in Washington, D.C. Tips for traveling safely. Most people think traffic safety is no big deal. Being safe is something we learned a long time ago. Look both ways before you cross the street, buckle up for safety, don't drink and drive. We start walking, riding bikes, and even driving at a young age. By the time we are adults, these things are second nature. Most people tell themselves, I'm a safe driver. I follow the rules. I'm a good driver, so when I have to bend the rules, it doesn't really matter. That's not true, and that's why we are reviewing tips for traffic safety. In 2020, 37 people died in traffic crashes in the District of Columbia. 2 out of 3 of those people were traveling in motor vehicles. Like most of us, they probably considered themselves safe drivers. The other third were simply walking or riding bikes and were struck and killed by motor vehicle operators. Nationally, nearly 40,000 people die in traffic crashes each year. Traffic safety is a big deal. In the district, the Bowser administration has a Vision Zero goal to reduce the number of traffic fatalities and serious injuries to zero. In a busy city like the nation's capital, we must behave in a way that protects others and maintains our own safety while demonstrating that we follow the safety rules we expect our fellow travelers to abide by. Driving is a big responsibility. DC's default speed limit is 20 miles per hour. It's easy to think of driving as a universal right, but it's actually a serious responsibility and a privilege. Unless you see signage on the roadway indicating otherwise, you should assume the speed limit in the district is 20 miles per hour. Most streets in DC have a 20 mile per hour speed limit for a good reason. Higher speeds in a collision result in greater impact in a crash and more severe injuries. This applies to small personal vehicles and especially to large SUVs and trucks. Protect yourself and others. Remember, in 2020, 2/3 of the people killed in crashes in the district were passengers in motor vehicles. Traffic safety isn't only intended to protect kids walking to school or a parent biking to work. Drivers need protection too, and we are not invincible inside of our vehicles. Driving the speed limit and wearing your seatbelt is about saving your own life. If that's not enough motivation to slow down, consider this. The district operates nearly 150 photo enforcement cameras, mainly to prevent speeding and red light running. A single speeding ticket can cost up to $500. Distracted driving. Chances are we've all been guilty of distracted driving. Our busy schedules make multitasking behind the wheel very tempting. Maybe your boss calls or emails, or you're late to your destination and need to notify your family. Instead of multitasking, either wait until you're parked legally or plan ahead to avoid using your phone. Research your route before you leave and send directions to your phone before you're in the driver's seat. Allow for extra time for traffic or special events, and anticipate bad weather so you don't have to rush. Set your phone to Do Not Disturb mode to avoid distraction. If you have a driver license, you should know the rules of the road and drive responsibly. There is no excuse for using distracted driving to save time. Aggressive driving. If you plan ahead, there's no need to exceed the speed limit or drive aggressively. Allow extra time for your trip. Driving in a city means traffic and delays. You can't beat the traffic by speeding, switching lanes, running red lights, or avoiding complete stops. Instead, be a professional. Leave early, know your route, and take a better safe than sorry approach to your driving. Remember, dangerous driving or parking can result in hurting yourself or others. Careful driving is especially important during inclement weather. Delays are almost certain during heavy rain or snow, and driving slower increases stopping distance. Being aware of people walking and biking becomes more critical. Impairment. With all of the challenges to safe driving we just reviewed, it is unconscionable to drive under the influence of alcohol, cannabis, or any other substance that impairs your motor skills reaction time and general ability to operate a motor vehicle. Doing so is illegal and extremely dangerous. Drowsy driving is now considered another form of impairment that is at least as dangerous as driving under the influence of drugs and alcohol. The district's Department of Behavioral Health offers information on substance use disorder services, including detoxification and residential and outpatient services. It also provides a range of prevention and recovery services. If you are impaired from lack of sleep or a substance, do not operate a motor vehicle. Park safely. You probably know that there is a lot of competition for limited street parking in the district. That doesn't mean we can park anywhere we please. Many examples of illegal parking are dangerous. If you park in a way that blocks or is too close to the crosswalks or curb ramp, drivers are unable to see pedestrians crossing until it is too late. Parking in a bike lane forces bicyclists to swerve into traffic.
People on bikes. The district now has at least 5% of commuters traveling to work by bike, and many others use shared bicycles and even scooters. With the growing popularity of motorized bicycles, biking is likely to become even more common on our streets. Things to remember. Bicyclists are allowed in regular travel lanes for motor vehicles, but where bike lanes do exist, bicyclists usually prefer to use them. The district has many different kinds of bike lanes, some of which might require different behaviors of drivers. Two styles of bike lanes that may seem confusing include two-way cycle tracks and contraflow bike lanes. With two-way cycle tracks, biking occurs in both directions on one side of the street. Examples include 15th Street Northwest, 1st Street Northeast, and Pennsylvania Avenue Northwest. Drivers should only turn through these bike lanes where signs or signals indicate this is allowed. Contraflow bike lanes are typically on streets with one-way car traffic, with the bike lane flowing against the car traffic. G Street and I Street Northeast are good examples. There is still a solid double yellow line separating the bikes from cars, so the normal driving rules apply. Just be prepared for people biking toward you when driving and making turns. The rules of the road for people biking are the same for those riding motorized bicycles or scooters, which may travel faster than you expect. When you turn through a bike lane, merging safely, remember that a motorized bicycle may accelerate quickly or travel faster than a person on a traditional bicycle. Don't try to rush ahead of a person biking to make a turn in front of them. It's always safer, as the larger vehicle in the situation, to yield to the smaller vehicle. If you're not sure who has the right-of-way, you can always slow down or stop until the path is clear. When in doubt, slow down. There's no reason to make a sudden turn. People walking generally have the right-of-way. Over 15% of DC residents walk to work. Another 39% take public transportation and walk for a portion of their journey. Expect to see people walking while you drive. In the district, drivers must stop for pedestrians in crosswalks. Generally, drivers should bear the most responsibility for safety on our streets because motor vehicles can cause the most damage. When you drive, drive slowly. This makes it easier to be aware of people walking, in wheelchairs, or on bikes. It also helps us drive safely around other drivers. Drivers make a common mistake of assuming they are free to turn when they see a green traffic signal. In fact, when you have a green light at an intersection and attempt to turn right, in the district there is likely a crosswalk to your right with a pedestrian who is following a walk signal. As a driver, you must stop for people crossing in the crosswalk before you make your turn. This is even more important for left turns, when you are trying to find a gap in traffic and might accelerate quickly to do so. Before you do, make sure no one is walking in the crosswalk to your left. To help prevent these crashes involving pedestrians, you might see the following on streets in the district. Leading pedestrian intervals. This tool gives pedestrians a head start when the walk signal appears before the green light for drivers. No right turn on red. Turning right at a red light is only allowed after coming to a complete stop. However, this behavior can still block crosswalks and encourage dangerous driving. Be on the lookout for no turn on red signs at more intersections throughout the district. If you need additional motivation to be mindful of people walking, consider the following moving violations. Colliding with a pedestrian, $500. Unlawful right on red, $100. Overtaking another vehicle stopped at a crosswalk or intersection for a pedestrian, $500. Remember, we are all pedestrians at some point in our journey. Whether you walk to your car, bus stop, or metro to get to work, or walk to lunch or to a meeting during the day, at some point you will walk or wheel around motor vehicles. Drive like you will be the person on the other side of the windshield. Eventually, you will be.